Carried. Thank you. I can't quite see everyone, so if anyone was opposed, could you just let me know? Good, thank you. The next item is item 8, Coastal Hazards Plan Change. Welcome, Mark. I'll let you introduce this item.
Thank you, Chair. I'll just briefly set the scene for the proposed coastal hazard plan change. Christchurch has almost 400 kilometres of coastline, and there are significant areas of low-lying land sitting behind that. The current rate of greenhouse gas emissions, we're expecting to experience 30 centimetres of sea level rise by 2050 and 1 metre within the next 100 years. As a result, Christchurch is more exposed to coastal hazards than either Auckland or Wellington. Coastal hazards were intended to be incorporated into the district plan review, but following submissions, an order in council in 2015 directed that they be withdrawn from that process and dealt with separately and as soon as practicable. In 2020, council established a coastal hazards working group to guide the work on our coastal hazards programme. And last year, a new coastal hazards assessment was prepared, which provides up-to-date data for the whole of the district. Following that, council approved an issues and options discussion paper that went out for engagement in October 2021. And we had an extensive period of engagement with over 40 meetings and drop-in sessions, reaching significant numbers of people across the city. From that, we had 55 submissions and 35 pro formas that provided feedback on the direction that we should be taking in developing a plan change. And the Coastal Hazard Working Group has heard deputations from 12 of those submitters. The submissions and the direction from the Coastal Hazard Working Group has all contributed to shaping the draft plan change, which is before you today. The draft plan change has taken a risk-based approach. Hazards have been mapped according to levels of risk, and this is enabling us to take a more nuanced approach that better reflects local circumstances. So we're not needing to adopt a blanket one-size-fits-all situation. We can actually tailor the response to the local situation. The plan change contains a suite of new objectives, policies and rules, and these are designed to help manage subdivision development and land use within areas of coastal hazards. Overall, it seeks to be more permissive where risks are low and can be easily managed, and more controlled where the risks are higher. The coastal hazards represent one of the qualifying matters that can be used to regulate the level of intensification of development, and therefore is a linkage with the previous plan changes you've been discussing this morning. The recommendation we have for you today is that the committee approves the draft coastal hazard plan change for community engagement. And this will provide a further step that will allow the community to contribute to shaping the formal plan change, which we expect to bring back to you later this year for notification. And that really concludes the introduction. Happy to hand back to you now, Chair.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Okay. Is it ever? Okay. Is there someone that'd like to move this? Celeste, thank you. I'm happy to second it. Is there any debate? Yanni.
Yeah, thank you. As someone who was on the working party, I just again want to acknowledge the work that staff have done in this regard and thank the community for the submissions that they've made. I have raised the concern through the working party around the sequence of planning reform, both at a central government level and also at a regional council level. Staff have made it really clear around why the need to prioritise this work, and I understand their point of view. And I guess today, really, the key thing is to put this out for pre-notification. So again, this isn't the final plan going out. So I'm happy to support it going out for the pre-notification, although I do have concerns around the sequencing around the higher level documents and plans that both central government and regional council are working on. But I think the important thing is to, again, get this out for the community feedback rather than hold it up today. And based on that feedback, I think then, I'll certainly reassess my view, but I don't want to hold this up from getting in front of the community at the moment. But just wanted to make those concerns, just put those concerns on record, because there were submitters, again, who did want more time to look at some of the implications of what was going on as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Yanni. Is there any other? Okay. Yeah, look, I'd like to echo some of Yanni's comments around acknowledging both community and staff. Once again, this is another process that we're going through to make sure that we align with the New Zealand coastal policy statement and also the regional policy statement, and we are been out of line from that for quite a while. So therefore we're having to do this, and obviously now with the MPSUD and qualifying matters, it's also really important that this is done. But this does impact community, and we are trying to work with community as much as possible, and hence we have already done a first round of pre-notification engagement when we went out with the issues and options paper, and it did highlight the concerns this community have. Obviously at that point of time we did 2 engagements on this, and actually the adaptation framework, which is going a slightly different paths even though they're linked. But this is actually quite an important piece of work that needs to happen. It has to happen, and it's actually about protecting future communities and future risk to the city from increased coastal hazards. Look, I welcome this another conversation with the community before we actually do the notification of the plan change. So I'll be supporting this as well. And if there's no one else that wants to talk, I will put the motion. All those in favour, say aye, raise your hands. Anyone opposed? Carried.